It's something we do all the time, maybe even every day, but we hardly ever stop to think about it. Online shopping. Today, we're going to pull back that digital curtain and see what's really going on behind the scenes when you click buy.
It feels completely instantaneous, right? Almost like magic. 1 second you're looking at a product on your screen, and the next you get that little confirmation email that it's on its way. But behind that one single click is an incredibly complex, high-speed journey. So today we're going to follow that journey from the exact moment you click buy all the way to the final confirmation.
So, how in the world do online stores manage all this complexity? Well, it turns out it's not just chaos. Most modern e-commerce platforms are actually built on a really logical and organized blueprint.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This diagram looks a little intense, right? But trust me, this is the master plan for pretty much every online store you use. It's called a 3-tier architecture, and it just divides the entire operation into 3 distinct layers. Let's break down what those are.
The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to just think of it like a real physical retail store. First, you've got the storefront. That's where you browse around and pick out your items. Then there's the back office, where all the managers and clerks are, processing the sale. And finally, you have that giant warehouse out back where everything is stored. Each layer has a very specific job, and they all have to work together perfectly for you to get your stuff.
All right, now for the fun part. Let's take that single click of yours and follow it on its grand tour through all 3 of those layers. This is where all the action really happens. Our journey, of course, begins right where you are, the presentation layer. This is literally everything you see and interact with on your screen, whether it's the website on your laptop or the app on your phone. It's the digital face of the store. So your web browser or your mobile app is basically your personal window into that store. And all the code behind it, stuff like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that's what builds the digital version of shelves, signs, and product displays. It's what makes the store look good and hopefully easy to navigate. The moment you click buy, the storefront packages up your request. It's then sent off through the internet using a secure protocol. Think of it like a sealed, armored van that's carrying your order to the main office. That little S in HTTPS is absolutely crucial. It means your data is encrypted and safe from prying eyes.
Okay, so that secure van has arrived. Your request is now at the application layer, which is really the brain of the entire operation. This is that busy back office we talked about, where all the real decision-making and heavy lifting happens.
But before your request can even get in the door, it has to meet the load balancer. Now, what's really cool about this part is that it basically acts like a bouncer at a super popular club. During a massive sale, when there's a flood of traffic, the load balancer directs people to different servers so the whole system doesn't get overwhelmed and just crash. Once you're past the bouncer, a whole team inside gets to work. You've got web and application servers acting like clerks and managers running all the business logic. There's an order processing engine that's basically the cashier ringing up the sale. User authorization is like a security guard, making sure you are who you say you are. And other specialists jump in to calculate taxes and apply that discount code you found.
But here's the thing. The back office doesn't do everything itself. It needs to talk to outside specialists. And it does this using something called an API, which stands for Application Programming Interface. You can think of an API as a secure phone line that lets the store communicate with payment gateways like Stripe or PayPal, and with shipping providers like FedEx. They're essential partners.
So after your order is all processed and confirmed, all that information has to be stored somewhere safe, right? This brings us to the final stop on our tour, the data layer. This is the store's massive, super secure warehouse and its meticulously organized records room, all rolled into one.
And because not all data is the same, this warehouse uses 2 different kinds of filing cabinets. On one hand, you have SQL databases. These are perfect for structured data, things like your user profile and your order history. Everything is stored in neat, tidy rows and columns. On the other hand, you have NoSQL databases, which handle all the unstructured stuff, like product reviews or system error logs. They offer a ton more flexibility.
Now you might be thinking, okay, got it, 3 layers. But while that blueprint is pretty much the standard, the way you actually build the store can vary quite a bit depending on how big the store is and what it needs to do.
There are really 3 common ways to do it. A monolithic architecture is kind of like an all-in-one small shop. It's great for startups because it's simple, but it can be harder to expand later on.
Then you've got microservices, which is what huge companies use. This is like a massive shopping mall, where each function, the cart, the payment system, the search bar, is its own separate little mini-app. And finally, there's headless architecture. This completely separates the storefront from the back end, which lets a brand sell products through a website, a mobile app, and even a smartwatch, all powered by the exact same system.
So, okay, we've just been on a pretty technical tour. But why does any of this actually matter to you, the person who's just trying to buy a pair of shoes?
Well, the payoff is basically everything you take for granted. Good architecture means your payment information is kept totally safe through things like firewalls and encryption. It means the pages load quickly and your checkout is smooth, not clunky. And it means the site doesn't crash in the middle of a Black Friday sale. All these invisible pieces have to work together perfectly to create the convenient and trustworthy experience you expect.
And really, that's the big takeaway here. Good architecture isn't just about fancy code and servers. It's the invisible foundation of your trust and your security online. It's the reason you can click buy with confidence.
And it all leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. I mean, we've already gone from desktops to mobile phones. As our devices keep evolving into smart glasses, voice assistants, who knows what else, how is this fundamental blueprint going to have to change? What will the storefront of the future actually look or even feel like? Thanks for watching.